Well, let's get to it because I haven't done a video on this about why I moved to Tampa from Chicago a year and a half ago. And so I wanted to just talk about it here. It's probably going to be a couple parts. But if you are thinking of moving to a new city and just starting over, then this video is for you. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and hopefully we can be together for a while. But yeah, like I fucking did it. Thinking about it now, it's like, oh my God, like you literally did it. And I've always wanted to move, and it's just never the right time to move. And it really wasn't the right time to move when we moved a year and a half ago either. But I just felt like it was kind of now or never. And you kind of get that feeling like if I don't do it now, like, when am I going to do it? Especially if you have like kids and a family and like a strong foundation. And it was really like nothing was wrong. Like most people move and want like a fresh start when like everything was going like wrong in their life. And it was some things that was kind of going wrong in my life. And I feel like that was just God pushing me to move. But this probably gonna be a couple parts, baby. So get your popcorn, get your notes. And if you have questions while I am talking about this, put them in the comments and then I will do kind of a Q&A to answer your questions, comments, and concerns. But it all started back in 2022 when I had came to Tampa for three speaking engagements. I am a business strategy consultant and a corporate trainer, and so I own my own consulting business and have since 2012. And so I travel a lot, I speak a lot, things of that nature. And so one of my speaking engagements was in Tampa, but it just so happened that when I got booked for one, I like to like double, triple book myself. So if I'm speaking on Thursday, I'll find something for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I want to make all my money during that trip and then go back home. And so I ended up doing that. And it just so happened that my husband, because we had never been to Tampa before. And so my husband, he was like, you know what? I'll come with you because I'm like, I need some footage. I need this. Like, we never been there. Like, let's go ahead and go. And so he ended up coming with me. And I remember he had stayed up in the room and I was like, well, I'm gonna go sit at the water. Baby, if it's some water, I'm there. Backstory, I found out that I had like seasonal depression during COVID and I didn't know it was seasonal depression because I'm always on a plane. Like, okay, don't look good outside. I'm going on a plane. Like, okay, I need something new. I'm on a plane, especially because I also travel, like speak and train. So I'm always on a plane. So it never really caught up to me that I had seasonal depression until COVID came and we couldn't travel. And it was more than just like COVID, we can't travel. It's like all I want to do is sit in the bed. I don't want to do anything. Like it was really bad. And so me figuring out like something is wrong with me, I found that I had seasonal depression. And so me finding that out like really changed the trajectory of a lot of things. And it made me start to research and just see different things for what it was. But yeah, I found out that I had seasonal depression in 2020. And so fast forward, right? 2022, I got these speaking engagements. We in Tampa. And I remember going to the water after my speaking engagement, and my husband was like, because we was going to dinner. He was like, I'm gonna take a nap. I was like, okay, well, baby, I'm going outside sitting at the water. Because if it's the water, it's me. And I remember like writing in one of my journal, and I'm not even a journaler. You know what I'm saying? Like I like to talk. I'm not like a journaler where I'm journaling in my journal. I like to, I'm a notes girl. And so it just so happened that I had took a notebook with me. And I'm just writing out some of my thoughts. And I could hear like God so vividly, like, this your spot, like Tampa is your place. I'm like, I cannot move. Like, did I hear that correctly? And then it kind of got stronger and stronger. And I know when God is talking to me because I get so overwhelmed with the feeling that I just like start crying. And so like I'm sitting at the little restaurant. It's like a little pier and it's like boats and like a little bar. And I'm sitting there and I went from laughing, thinking about something to like literally just crying. And I'm just like, okay. So then I tell my husband, like, we should really consider moving here. He like, yeah, it is nice here. He was like, if it lines up, then we can. I was like, oh, okay. So I had always had that in the back of my mind. So that was the first trip. Well, after that trip, let's just say that trip was in August. Baby, soon as we got from that trip, everything started happening. Me, my mama, my grandma, like we just kept getting into it. And then it was never like that before. And I never would consider moving because I have a really strong support system, like really strong support system. When I got pregnant with my daughter, I set my family down, told them I was pregnant, and my grandma was like, okay, great, I'm gonna watch the baby, you know, while you work and go to school. My mama like, I'm gonna watch the baby when I get off. My sister like, I'm gonna watch the baby on the weekend. My daddy like, I'm gonna help your mama. Like it wasn't a question of who was gonna watch and what was gonna be done. Like I told them and I knew that they were going to figure it out. I used to have to beg for my baby back, like beg for my baby back. My mom used to come over my house, open it with her key, get my baby out the bed, put the baby in a car seat, and be gone. Like, and it was that way her entire life. Like, then I have my son 5 years later, same thing. Um, I never have to worry about childcare. Like, I never have to worry about if I could take a speaking engagement or a training because I know my family going to figure it out. Flip side to that is that I very much so am financially taking care of my family too. So it's a community and a village, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a give take. And so I'm like, no, I can't move because who gonna help me with my kids? Well, when we got into it, they didn't see the kids, right? When we got into it. And so me and my husband had to figure it out on our own, which was such a blessing because it made me realize like we can really do this shit on our own. Like we can move. So I know that was God like disrupting the flow for me to be able, and I hope I don't start crying, for me to get into it with my mom and my grandma. I got into it with my mom on Halloween. I got into it with my grandmama over Christmas, and we didn't talk for a while. So I was like, you know what? We could move like and I just started to see things about starting over and just new beginnings and then my husband had something traumatic happen at his job. I'll see if that's something I could share, but he had something traumatic happen at his job that was like life or death, and I was just like, you know what, like I'm not dealing with this shit. Like we could move, mind you. I have my own business, a brick and mortar, have my own employees. We have a 3,000 plus square foot house. Like we had things, but I'm like, I just want to start over. Like I just want something new. Like my seasonal depression is kicking in too. Cause baby, about my birthday is October 6th. After Halloween, my seasonal depression kicks in and it doesn't let go to about the end of March. Well, that's November, December, January, February, March. That's 5 months of me running a business and not being at full capacity because I have seasonal depression. From me being a mom, a wife, and just me. And for 5 months, I'm just out of whack. And then when I finally get out of it, it takes me a while to jumpstart it back. So I was like, and I'm spending thousands of dollars traveling to find some sun, right? Because my seasonal depression kicks in because Chicago is cold, it's gloomy. You don't want to get out of bed. Like the sun doesn't come out like that. And if it does come out, it's really cold. So like I'm staying in the house, staying in bed, like that's not conducive for me, my business, or my lifestyle. So I'm just like, if I was just somewhere where it was just sunny, all the time, and it just felt like I was on vacation all the time, like I could really thrive. Like if it was just me and my husband, and our marriage wasn't bad. That was like if it was just me and him and the kids, like that would just bring us so much closer together. Like it'd just be us. So we would have to figure it out, and I was just having all of these thoughts. And so I was like, you know what? I let's do it. So it got around a time in like March, And I took my husband to dinner and I was like, I really want us to move. Like, I really want us to start over. Like, I really want to move to Tampa. Like, is it something we can consider? And he was like, if it falls into place, yeah. Mind you, we would have never moved due to my stepson. But my husband said that when he went away to college, we could move. Well, that was the year that he was graduating high school to go to college. So he was going away anyway. So I was like, okay. So it kept like getting stronger and like stronger. And then I had asked him, like, well, I'm gonna just book us a flight and then I'm gonna like look at all these different we can go and look at all these different apartments. One thing that I want to say is when you're moving to a new place, you really don't know the area, you don't know the people, so it's not just my perspective, it's not wise to buy. And I'm on my fourth house purchase. We just bought a house in Tampa, which will make our fourth house purchase. You just don't buy a place because you've seen it on Zillow and you looked at it one time and now you move into a place. This is not how I would operate. That's a house is a almost permanent decision. Like, yeah, you can sell it, but it's a process. But the apartment, you only in it for a year, and you can move and you can do a 6 month lease, things of that nature. So I was like, we really don't know the area and I'll kind of want to like try the luxury condo thing. Like I never lived in one of the luxury, condos or apartments, and I really wanted to try it. And I really thought that that was like something I couldn't try because I had this big ass house. And so I was like, I really want to rent one of these luxury apartments. Let's just live there for a year. We can scope out the area. We can figure out what we want to buy. Also, they have hurricanes down here. So I was like, I don't want to I want to see what happened when it's a hurricane. Like, are we in the flood zone? Like, it's a lot of factors. And so he was like, okay. So, baby, I booked us a flight and we had 10 apartments to see that day. If you want me to talk about the apartments and kind of the pros and the cons, let me know in the comments and I'll make another video. But we got off the plane, got in our rental car, and we looked at 5 apartments. And the fourth apartment was the one that I really wanted. Um, and I seen it in person. It had everything that I wanted. And what I wanted was I wanted a gated community. I wanted to be 15, 20 minutes away from the airport. I wanted it to have a pool. I wanted it to have a gym. And I also, what was really important to me, which solidified that place, was working areas. I'm coming from a brick and mortar where I have an office. Now I'm working remote. I don't work at home and my brain doesn't work at home. I'm an entrepreneur and I started my business in 2012. When you start your business in the beginning, that's all you do is work. You have no sense of time at all. So I'm waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, not going to bed till 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just working, right? Well, that wasn't conducive for my marriage, for my life, and just for me being a mom. But when you in the beginning and you trying to make this thing work, like none of that matters. And so when I finally got into like the rhythm of things, and maybe that took years, I used to pray every day, like, God, please turn my brain off when I get home. And so maybe hmm, 2 years into the business, I had got an office. Worst and best decision. Let me know if you want me to make a video about that, but it was the worst and best decision. And then I ended up going back to work at home. Then I end up having my son, and then I got another office. Didn't like that office, went back to work at home. Then we decided to move out of our house, sell our house. The house we was gonna get fell through, so we ended up renting an apartment. And in the apartment, it was no space for me to work, so I had to get an office. And then I got another office. So going from like having a brick and mortar for 7 years consistently, and now working from home, it just wasn't going to work. And my prayer used to be like, God, when I come home, please turn my brain off. Please turn my brain off. When I leave this office and I walk into this house, let my brain not work. And so that was my prayer. Like I was at work from 9 to 5. Now I'm at home. Like let me enjoy being at home. And so that used to be my prayer. And God answered it. If I have to do like real work at home, it does not work. Now, like answering emails, something real quick, I could do that. But when I really have to think and do work, it doesn't work at home. So I needed an office space, and they had like these office rooms. And if you want to see like a video of me like showing the old place where we used to stay, the rooms, I can definitely do that. Just put in the comments. But it had these designated office rooms that were really nice. And I also do a lot of trainings. I have clients that fly in. They had like this beautiful space that you can rent for like, to me it was very cheap, that you could rent the space if you wanted it to just be like your space. But if you ain't care if it was a couple people coming in and out, you can use it for free. But the office spaces were free, like they were included in the rent. So it was just a lot of factors that I liked about the place. It was brand new, clean. Baby, we moved in that condo and ended up moving out of that condo into a townhouse within 3 months. Let me know if you want a video about that too. I'll tell you about that too. But it just kind of checked all my boxes. So I was like, well, we don't need to look at no more. Like, I want this one. We ended up coming back. We flew in that same day, flew out that same night. Called my real estate agent. I was like, hey, I found the place. I'm going to put the house on the market. We put the house on the market after that conversation within like maybe 3 days. When we put the house on the market, we have 42 people come and see it like back to back to back. We had 27 offers. The house ended up selling within like 24, 48 hours. The reason why it's probably 48 hours is because it was a bidding war going back and forth. Put the house on the market. I started having garage sales, getting rid of all of the stuff, donating the stuff, because we're going from a 3,300 square foot house to a 900 square feet, like luxury condo apartment thing. So we like got rid of a lot of stuff. And I like to buy new stuff. Every house and every apartment that I've had, I've always just keep the stuff away and buy new stuff. And my husband, like, let's not buy new stuff. Like, we are gonna buy a house. We can get stuff when we buy the house. Baby, the moving company. If I'm a Let me know if you want a video on that, on like the process of the moving company and how they just literally just messed us over, and they force you to pay their price that they didn't tell you was the price. And they say, I prayed on that. I'll tell you about the situation too. Let me know if you want that. Let me know if you want that video in the comments. But yeah, we came down here. I will say, the first year is kind of like a shock because you're homesick, but not really. Like you miss your family, but just not really. You miss your old friends and what you used to do, but just not really. And the reason why you kind of go through this, like, did I make a good decision? Like, is this gonna really work? Is because it's new and you really don't know nobody. It's just you and the people in your house. You don't know where to go. You don't know about the food. You don't know about the places. Like, so you're kind of like a tourist, but you live there, and so it's very unfamiliar. So that first year, I wouldn't base like if you like it or love it or don't like it based on that first year, because it's a lot of mixed emotions that first year. The second year, like we're going into our second year, you can kind of now start to like, okay, I do like it. Like I like the feel, we're able to manage it. The kids are good. Like, okay, yeah, I like this. So I wouldn't base it off the first year. I would definitely base it off the second year. But yeah, it was kind of an idea, a stronghold, end up changing my entire life and moving. And I will say it has been one of the scariest yet best decision we've made in a long time. So if you want to know more about it, if you're thinking about moving, you want to know the process of moving, um, selling a house, buying a house, all of those things. Like I want to use this channel to be able to have this kind of open forum and open conversation so that we can talk about it, because it's new beginnings for me as well. And so I want you to know that, it's possible for you, what you're trying to do, what you want to do, where you want to go, the life that you desire is not that far fetched. Like it's possible for you. You have to plan it. You have to plan for the life that you want. But I want to use this channel to just show you kind of new beginnings and just new outcomes and just new living and like new learning. Like I'm in a new place now. And so I feel like I'm a new person. Like it's a new season, it's a new flow, it's a new way of thinking and just new. And so if that's what you are trying to do this year and you want something new, absolutely like, subscribe, and share so that we can, get to this thing called life.